Hey everybody, Derek here with Minute Maintenance. In this video I'm going to show you how to change the front diff fluid on a Gen 1 Raptor. So this is kind of a tricky one. What you would normally do when you change diff fluid is take the cover off, clean it all out, put a gasket or sealant back on your diff cover, and then put it back up. But for some reason on this one, the front of the diff and the cover is very close to the power steering rack, so close that it might not come out without loosening a bunch of bolts on your differential to move it, taking your power steering rack out, all kinds of stuff. So what we're going to do is a little bit of trick. We're actually going to just suck the fluid out of the diff through the hole, through the fill hole. Obviously there's no drain plug on the differential in the front. Dealerships or manufacturers want you to take everything to them to get the simple stuff done. It's really not going to be a hard job. So for special tool is this guy right here. I bought this from Harbor Freight. It's just a vacuum brake bleeder. We'll hook our airline up to this and we'll stick this end down into the differential and suck as much fluid out as we can, and then we will refill it. Let's get started. So before I pulled it in, I did drive around for a little bit just to kind of warm up the fluid, hopefully making it easier to suck out. Differential fluid typically is real thick, and to make it a little bit quicker to suck it out, I thought I'd warm it up a bit. First thing we need to do is take this skid plate off. There's 4 bolts, 2 here, 2 in the back, and mine are 15 millimeter. So this skid plate's attached to the front skid plate. So we just got to take the 2 bolts that are holding them together. Okay, so here's my differential, front differential. This is the power steering rack. As you can see, there's not much room there. It looks like you could just, undo your bolts and it'll slide off. But the rack, or the ring and pinion, is actually all the way up into this cover. Not all the way, but most of the way. So really, the cover has to make it out about, this far in order to get down. Now you may be able to spin it and do all kinds of crazy stuff, but I don't want to risk it right now. So what we're going to do is take this out. This is our fill plug. It's just a 3/8 ratchet head. And I do have a drain pin under here, just in case a little bit comes out. Differential fluid is the nastiest smelling oil there is. If you disagree or if you agree, leave a comment down below. It does look like my cover's leaking a little bit, so I'm going to have to replace that as well sometime. Now you do want your truck as flat as possible. I did pull up on just these small little ramps to be able to get under it easier, but you don't want to jack your truck way up before you do all this or at least you don't want to jack the front of your truck all the way up, because then when you go to fill it, your fluid level is going to be cockeyed with your fill plug and you won't get the right amount inside of it. And I know it's kind of a strange color, but that's normal. There's going to be a little bit of moisture built up inside of these. That's part of why you change your oil, is to get rid of that. And also I believe the additive that they use from Ford kind of makes it this weird color. If it was really milky looking, then I'd be worried. Okay, that's about done. So we're just gonna stick this end down into that hole. We're gonna hook our pump up to the air compressor, pull the trigger, and let it suck until there's nothing coming out of this hose. So as I'm doing this, I'm going to let it suck for a while. When my air compressor kicks on, I'm going to let it run just a little bit longer, but then I'm going to let my air compressor catch up. If you just let it run nonstop, it's a good way to burn up your air compressor. Probably not a good idea. So I'm going to get this all sucked out and then we'll be back. Okay guys, so I sucked out as much as I could. Obviously without taking our cover off, we're not going to get all of the oil out. And that is the downside of doing it this way. Because of that, I am going to change my diff fluid more often than what Ford would recommend. And I'm not even sure what the mileage is off the top of my head. But I'm probably going to start doing it front and rear about every 30,000 miles. And that's also partially because I do drive the truck pretty hard, especially when I go on trips and Raptor runs and stuff like that. So now what we're going to do is fill it up. If you were to take the cover off, completely drain it, it would be just about 2 quarts. I'll be happy if I get just over 1 quart back into it. I'm just going to use this transfer pump with a hose. Pretty simple. Stick your hose end in the hole. In a way that it'll stay. And then pump till your arm goes numb. So I'm going to fill this up. I know it's full when oil is going to start dripping out of the fill hole. And then after it starts to drip, I'm going to give it probably 2 or 3 more pumps just because I am at a little bit of an angle. And then I'm going to throw my plug in and let it sit for a little bit. Okay, so I'm able to get more than a quart in, which is great. As I switch bottles, I forgot to mention the fill plug. We're going to clean up all of our threads. And then before we put it on, we're going to put some of this thread sealant on it, high temperature. Just put a glob on there and right before you screw it in, and then you're going to torque it down. So the torque for the fill plug is 18 foot-pounds. Fluid type, you're going to use 80W90 as a spec on my truck. Like I said, 2 quarts. I'm using Mobile One. A lot of people like the AMSOIL. Those come in just like a squeeze pouch, which is really nice. I'm just going to use that little transfer pump that you saw. I got that from Harbor Freight, and I got the suction pump, the little vacuum pump from Harbor Freight also. Really not too expensive. Super easy job as long as you have an air compressor. If you don't, borrow one from a friend, go to a friend's house that has one. You might even be able to rent them. I'm not sure. Probably still cheaper than taking it to the dealership, but I hope I got everything. This was kind of last minute, and my allergies are acting up like crazy today. So, yeah. Easy job, guys. If you have any questions, obviously, leave them down below. Give us a like, subscribe, tell your friends about us. Have a great day.